All right, what's up, y'all? I'm Lawrence Yo here, and I want to show you how I use ConvertKit. So I'm just showing some general walkthroughs of how people get onto my list in the first place. Most of it is through my site. If you have a site, whether it's on WordPress or whatever, on your homepage, try to have somewhere where people can opt in. You'll see that when I kind of scroll down here, there's a top bar that pops up. So this is one way that I get people onto my list. If you kind of look down here, I'm introducing more to that. And then right away I say, the best way to stay updated is through my email newsletter. And you could put in one of ConvertKit's inline forms here. The other is actually having a separate newsletter page on your site here. Because a lot of people hear about more to that. And they're like, oh, I want to join the newsletter. So they'll go in Google or whatever search engine and put more to that newsletter. And that way, if you have something like that, they could go straight to a page that has your newsletter. And then here, I like to give people an example of what a recent edition looks like. ConvertKit also has this great thing where you can share your broadcast that you've already emailed on its own dedicated web page. The other place, which is quite important, are my posts themselves. I have this triggering around 70% of the way through. I have a pop-up that comes up here asking people if they are interested in how I find my ideas. And I put it kind of closer to the 70% range because it's only around then where people might care. You kind of don't want to put this at the way front, right? Because there's no real buy-in from your reader. And then if someone finishes your post, like that means they are enjoying it enough to read it all the way through to the end. So if they get down here to the end, I just have this box here saying, hey, if you enjoyed this post, consider joining the More Than newsletter. And a lot of people subscribe that way. And the other is an exit pop-up. As people kind of move up to close the tab, the character shows up here as a mailman. And he's like, hey, just join my delivery route, yo. I heard why exit pop-ups work so well is that, like, if you walk into a museum and right then and there, an employee gives you a brochure to donate, you're not really going to because you haven't even checked out anything in the museum yet. But if you go check it out and you kind of, you did your thing there and on your way out, they give you that brochure, there's a much greater chance for you to donate at that point. So same thing applies to email really. Like getting someone's email address is much harder than getting a social media follow or anything like that. So you want to kind of make that like at the end. And if someone gives that to you, they're like, oh yeah, I want to keep hearing from you. That's great. And then for my course, so I have a storytelling course called Thinking in Stories. So I have a link out here. This is a dedicated Thinking in Stories website. What happens here, and one of the reasons I love ConvertKit, is that when someone joins on your list this way, they'll be added to the main list, but then they will get a tag that says waitlist TIS. That way I know that they joined this waitlist instead of just joining through like an article opt-in or something like that. The most prominent way I use tags is the course waitlist, like email series for people that are maybe interested in the course. And then third is like people that are already taking the course and ensuring that I'm reaching them instead of my whole list. You'll see that there's a ton of tags down here that say TIS. This is all for my storytelling course, Thinking in Stories. So when someone enrolls, I use a platform called ThriveCart. There's an integration with ConvertKit there, so I can tag them immediately. And I have two tiers. I have an essential tier and I have a premium tier. So this is just a great way for me to know, all right, who's in Thinking in Stories and on what tiers. And then I create what is called a segment. A segment is a way of grouping different subscribers into a final bucket. So you'll see, for example, here, I have a lot of Thinking in Stories tags, but then I have one segment on here that says all enrolled students Thinking in Stories. So I could choose the different tags that I want to be rolled up in there, and I could see, oh, okay, all the students that have taken Thinking in Stories so far is all in here. If you have a product and you want to get people interested in the product, instead of making it so binary, like I am not going to buy the product to yes, I will buy the product, like you could fill in that gap through like a free email course. So I have, for example, a 3-day email series for a course on writing. And if people join that, then they get a tag called 3-day email course. And then they are added to a sequence. So then that sequence basically delivers that course to them. So if you're tagged, you'll get an email each day for 3 days. And then at the end, people can buy it or not, and so forth. Okay, Lawrence Yo once again, and thanks for checking out how I use ConvertKit in all the various ways, and hope you found it insightful.